Mexico and exhibited a natural artistic talent from a very young age. Her parents moved the entire family to Beaumont when she was 16 years old. The first couple of years were filled with turmoil, fear of a new place, and a painful homesickness for Mexico. Then during her senior year, a teacher tasked Ines with creating a mural of Mexico for the Cinco de Mayo program. Ines believes this was when her true journey as an artist began, and she was where she was supposed to be. Once Ines opened her heart and eyes to her new community of Beaumont, she found herself inspired by the strong group of talented people following their passions. She became an active member and participant at the Art Museum of Southeast Texas, the Art Studio, Inc., and the Beaumont Art League. She often donates paintings to fundraisers. She knows that every painting she donates helps a cause, allows her to meet more people, and makes a connection with people who receive the painting. Ines also works with children in the summer. She finds it very inspirational, sharing her story and remembering how, as a kid, she was an artist but didn't know it yet. The kids and Ines create murals around town, and many of you have seen those. Ines continues to evolve her style and develop as an artist. She believes her studio is a perfect reflection of what she hopes to achieve through her paintings. Amarte ama arte, to love yourself, love others, and love art. Let's welcome Ines to the stage, everyone.
I really want to just say thank you for everyone that worked so hard to make this event possible. I can feel and I really know that it takes time and effort and sleepless night. And we were just talking about that. It's like being pregnant. And you've been working with that, carrying that belly for so long, and then it finally comes down, and I'm like, now what I do with this baby? Thank you, but I want to begin with acknowledging your presence, the ones that are sitting in front of me, because even all the work that they did, if you didn't show up, it will be pointless. It really will be. So thank you. And since it's a few of us, I'm gonna get really comfortable and I'm just gonna go for it. I didn't realize how much time I was giving when I get involved with community service, different boards, and just working out there. And I do realize that that time was taken away from my family, my own profession, and my rest time or me time. And that looks different for everyone. It might be a glass of wine or a cup of coffee with your friends. It might be a hot bath, or it can be literally just sitting in a quiet room by yourself with no noise. And I thank you for that, because I know you do it for the same reason that I do it. And it's because we care, and we want this community to be better, not just for us, but for our families. So thank you again. And I'm just gonna start and ask a question. And this is, I want really honesty, it's only a few of us, like I said, it's no judgment. How many of you have crushed a party before? Just seen music, and then, we should just go. Raise your hand, please. And this could have been intentionally or not. And the thing is that I usually crash those parties just because I was walking by. So for those that did not raise their hand and never done it before, please do it. It's really fun. And the best thing is that you never know what's gonna happen or who you're gonna meet. Last year, my friends and I were walking downtown, and I knew there was a business soon to be open. As we get closer, I can hear music. And if there's something that really warms my heart, is music. And in this case, it was a saxophone. I really love saxophones. So as I get closer, my first instinct is to glue my face to the window to try to get a glimpse. To my surprise, the owner was right in front of me. So as soon as he saw us, guess what he did? He did not hesitate to invite us in. This party happened to be just a warm opening for their business, family and friends only. And he welcomed us like family. What happened that night is that we have great food. We met amazing people. The music was fantastic. But the best part was Perry. He was the saxophone player. He took the time to share a story of how growing up, no one he grew up with wanted to become a doctor. What was the reason? The reason was that there was no doctors. So he realized that after that, his main mission as a musician was going to the community or the places with more need and share his passion for music. He decided that anyone that he encountered that dreamed to become a musician, he was there to tell him, yes, I can do it, because he was doing it. The other thing that he did that really got points with me is that he acknowledged his wife, and he said that without her, he will not be where he is. So that really got me there. He really took the time to share that story. And that night I understood more what I do. My name is Ines Alvidres. I'm a painter. And just like any other profession, I have to get the work done to get paid. But that was not enough. And I felt like I was like him. I have to go up there and share the message of, if you want to be an artist, maybe you can do it because I'm doing it. And or as glamorous as it sounds, are you an artist? Oh, yes, I'm an artist. It's not. I have met wonderful people sharing my story, and I know a lot of those are grateful that I'm sharing this story. But one of the things, or one of my favorite quotes of all time, is very short and very simple. It says, when you learn, teach. When you get, give. It's Maya Angelou. And once we really understand the meaning of that quote, it's very profound. So let me tell you, I moved to Beaumont, Texas in 2000, and I had a lot of learning to do. The transition was very difficult, and I missed home terribly. I was homesick. And to be honest with you, I thought Beaumont was a very sad and boring place. But the truth is that it wasn't Beaumont, it was me. I was very sad, and Beaumont looked that way because that's the way I felt. One of my good friends, Greg Buscemi, said to me once, the only person that said that Beaumont is boring is the people that live under a rock, because there's so much to do. And today, I agree with him 100%. I joke with people and tell them, please do not move a teenager to a country where they don't speak the language, because they already have enough being a teenager, right? And they're already hard to understand. So that's what happened to me. And I'm grateful that that happened to me, because at 16 years old, I got the chance to leave Mexico, absorb what Mexico was like, and that's why I get to bring my paintings the way they are, because I have to experience that in Mexico. Before I continue, I want to take a little moment before I get more intimate. If you would have told me when I was in high school that I will have the chance or the opportunity to share part of my story or my passion for art one day with a group of people like you, I promise you 100% that I would try a bit harder. But I mentioned already, I was a teenager, and I was not happy here. I do realize that my story is not going to change, and it keeps evolving every day. But my true hope is that I get to become a better storyteller with time. And I'm going to share a story, and I'm so glad I have a couple guests that I want to mention. and I'm gonna mention their names or who they are in my speech as I go along. Marilyn Wall is on the back. I would love for you to wave. And this is the part where I get emotional. Uh, my high school teacher, Homer Pillsbury, and Jennifer Aguilar. These three people have made a really, really big impact in my career. And the first story I'm gonna share with you was in high school. My dear Mrs. Wall, we were in high school and she has this big art project. So this is the first time I'm faced with a project that is bigger than I am. She thinks it will be a great idea to create a mural representing what Mexico looks like, tastes like, and we're supposed to make this big painting. And if you envision in this beautiful big canvas, it wasn't. It was two old bed sheets sewn together. And I remember that when she offered the idea, I thought it was a great idea for a group of us. But she said, no, this is for you. And I remember being so scared of just thinking about doing it. But I say yes. And I do like to mention that I am very proud to say that we are still friends. Not too long ago, we sat on her dining room and talked about life. And I feel the same support I felt back in high school that I feel today. So thank you. I really understood Georgia O'Keeffe's quote when she said that there was not a single day that she wasn't terrified, but that didn't stop her from doing what she loves. It's exactly how I felt that day. It's exactly how I feel today, but that's not gonna stop me from finishing my speech. And this is what happened with this project. I don't know if I ever shared the story with you, Ms. Wall, but I'm about to. This project was pretty large, and I wasn't sure I was gonna be able to do it. But what I did do was face my fear. I set up that big canvas on a hall. I got some paint, some snacks, cup of coffee, a little radio, and I was ready to go to town and paint. As I'm doing this, my older brother Cesar is getting ready for prom. He's my older brother, very handsome, and he's ready to go, and I go to paint. And have you ever heard that moment when time disappears and melts? Those moments do exist. And this was probably the first time that I was there, of many. I went to painting and kept painting and kept painting. The next thing I remember is a noise. I can hear the noise of the doorknob. And I am really, the first thing that crosses my mind is he's in trouble because it's super late and he's just coming back home. To my surprise, when he opens the door, it's sunny, it's sunshine, it's a new day. I have painted all night long, and it felt like nothing. And of course, I was 16 or 17. I don't think I can do that today. But that was truly one of those times where I realized that it felt right. So when you find something that makes you feel that way, that you can do it all night long, or you really don't feel exhausted doing it, I mean, your body does feel exhausted, but your mind wants to keep going, your heart wants to keep going, you treasure that is. Whatever that is, you do treasure that. To be honest with you, that night, something happened. I stopped missing home. I realized that I was home. I realized that when you find the thing that you do in a safe environment, that's home. And it was such a freedom because I realized that it doesn't matter what part of the planet I find myself, if I do the same thing I did that night, I'm gonna be okay. And it was such a relief to have that feeling. I am very proud, and I don't dislike Beaumont anymore. I love Beaumont because I did for for a long time. And I think that happens to a lot of people to move to Beaumont. We don't like different. We like comfortable. And we do have to make an effort to go and meet people and find things that makes us happy. I know there's a new friend of mine I met just today. She just moved 3 days ago from out of town, and I told her, it's okay if you don't like Beaumont. And she says, like, okay, how long is this gonna last? For me, it was like 2 years, you know. So that's the message on that part. We really have to treasure that thing that makes us happy. And whenever you find that, don't worry where you find yourself. You'll be just fine. In 2011, I met a real artist, or what I like to call a real artist. All the artists I knew were on books and dead. And the ones that I really admire were not tangible. They were not somebody I can speak to. But this guy was full of dreams, and he called himself very proudly, I'm an artist, even though he was waiting tables in a Mexican restaurant. And remember what Perry said, it takes one to become one. For me, it really took meeting a real artist to even believe that I was able to become one. The same year, I met Homer Pillsbury. Homer, can you wait for me? Homer Pillsbury really was a key for me to get that bat on my eyes. He talked to me about the oil industry, the musicians that came from this area. He talked to me about the true rich history that this place is made of. And when we find friends that really know what this place is made of and what it really is, what truly is, then you appreciate where you are more. And he did that to me. He opened my eyes to the beauty of Beaumont, but he also ensured me every time that I was ready, even if I didn't feel like I was. My first show was in Orange, Texas, and I remember saying, there's no way I can make it. He opened his trunk and helped me carry all the paintings. And there we go. We went and did my first show. I saw my first painting that day, and I couldn't believe that somebody was buying a painting. But that was the beginning. The same year, I met actors, musicians, poets, you name it. We have it all. We have a really beautiful artistic community here in Beaumont. After that first show, new opportunities kept coming, and I got the chance to show at different places. There are Texas Artists Museum. I did a really nice eclectic show at the Victoria House. It's no longer there, but it was a pretty awesome little house. And everything was going well, but I needed more. And I didn't know what that more was. What I realized is that the story that I shared with you of me painting the canvas and feel that freedom, I wanted to share that with the little ones. And that opportunity came to me when First Thursday was new, or was a new thing. We became creative, and I say, how about we offer the same experience that I had when I was in high school? I brought a big canvas, my paint brushes, and my presence to tell those little ones that it was okay to just paint. And I know a few of you did that with me today. And I know a few of you talked to me about how it was relaxing. And it was a little time to just disconnect from everything. You don't know your name, you don't know where you are, you're just painting. So once that happened, I decided that my priority, besides keep going and keep doing what I'm here to supposed to do, it was to share the message of what art can do for you. All of those shows and these experiences that I mentioned were great. But it really took time for me to embrace who I was and be able to come and put myself out there. It takes courage to be an artist. It takes courage to be a doctor. It takes courage to say that I want to open a restaurant. It takes courage to be here. And as time went on, in 2014, I had to make a decision. And I remember I was in bed, And I have to ask myself, do you really want to be an artist, or you just telling people you paint or do artwork here or help out here with our community projects? That morning, I decided that I wasn't going to get out of bed until I had decided that I was going to do it or not. And I had this conversation. It was like two people speaking. And I'm not sure. And I know a lot of people have that story. But I was there. And I can tell you it was almost like two people asking. So I said, Ines, do you want to become an artist or not? Are you going to do it or not? Whatever answer I said was okay. Yes, it's okay. No, it's okay. If you say no, stop telling people you paint once in a while. Stop telling people you like art and you want to do it one day. But if you say yes, you're going to walk as one and become one. Well, that morning took me way longer to get out of bed than usual. But the other person answered right away and said, yes, I want to become one. Well, I decided to step with my right foot, and I remember touching the floor that morning, and I promised myself to walk from that day on as one. And I promise you, since that day, I have not stopped doing that. Right after I decided I did wanted to become an artist, I have the amazing opportunity to meet this young girl, Jennifer Aguilar. And the story with her is that I was doing some spray painting. This is so, just seeing her, she's so sweet. I'm painting on a building, just practicing, and a truck is right behind me, and I'm thinking I'm in trouble. Of course, I have permission from the owner, and I have spray cans to practice. But I'm pretty sure it was somebody to tell me, what are you doing painting this building? But it wasn't. It was Jennifer and her father. And I remember that little face looking through the window, and she reminded me so much of myself. She was so excited to see me painting. So I asked Jennifer's father, which I knew, and also her mom. I said, can she stay and paint with me? And he said yes. So Jennifer has been painting with me since she is 13 years old. And now she is a beautiful young student in college, and she's doing what she loves. But until today, I don't say yes to a project if she's not open. I'm like, Jennifer, are you available for this month, this day? So what I want to share here is that you have to learn from people and take their guidance and say yes to things that scare you. Like I said to Mrs. Wall, you have to learn from people that have experience and have so much knowledge to give, like Homer. And that has so many stories that you will not believe. Like, these are the stories that you're like, nah, I don't think that happened, but it did happen. And you also have to have somebody that you want to teach and pass those things to. And that's my case with Jennifer. And that's the thing that gets me so emotional, because every one of you have those people. You have the people that push you to do and make an effort to be a better person. But then you have the person that tells you, everything's gonna be okay, you have it, you got this, you got this. And then you have the person that you have to be those two people to make them better. So if I learned something on this conference is that I hope one day all of you get to experience being behind the podium, because your story matters and you have something to say. And the next thing I learned is that there's never something that will break you completely. If we stand in here, if we able to see each other, everything that has happened to us hasn't been that terrible, even though it felt when it happened. I close this speech with a quote that I love. Oprah Winfrey was asked once who was her favorite guest of all time. And she said, that's the easiest question I have ever had, because she knew exactly who it was. From all the guests that she had, it was Dr. Tara Wright Trent. If you find her story, please approach me. I give you the name. It's the most beautiful story for Oprah to say that. And the quote of Dr. Terry Trent is that the universe has a way to honor our dreams if only we become, first of all, if we believe, become determined, and work hard towards our goals. Thank you so much for your time.